Alright, hey guys, I'm going to do a review of the Burris ar-332 scope. Everything about it, as far as what you get with it, how it installs, how it looks, how it feels, how it performs when you're shooting it, everything. So I used to have another review up here, but I did it in like 3 sections, so I'm trying to do this all in one today. So I deleted the other ones and try to make this a little easier. Alright, so first off, I'm going to try and get you a view of the reticle. I have it illuminated at the lowest setting on the green, so we'll see how this works out. I'm going to go ahead and try real quick. Hold on a second. Might be trying to line this up for you. Hopefully you can kind of see, get an idea. I don't know how well you can see that, but I might give you an idea. When you're looking through it and focusing, you can see the bullet drop compensation. The whole reticle is a little bigger than this, and you can see everything clearly. It's kind of blurred looking through it with this camera, but sorry, I'm not really doing the best job. I'm trying to study the gun and my camera, but anyway, this gives you an idea. That's, like I said, on the lowest setting of the illumination, and it does do red and green. So let me turn this light back on for you. So yeah, you can adjust it 1 through 5. The illumination on this side, obviously the numbers are red because that's for the red, and on the other side it's green, like I said, so you know what color is what. And then when it's not on, it's just black. Same reticle, just black, so you're not using your battery. In the daytime, the black's fine. It's plenty, I think. I hardly ever even use the illumination. But anyway, when you get the scope, it comes with this sunshade. This part is the sunshade. It just screws on and off if you don't want it on there. So the actual scope is only about this long. I just think it looks cool on there. I'm just going to leave it on. And then obviously you get the flip-up lens covers on the front and back. And if you did take like the sunshade off, these just slide on and off, and you can slide it on up here or just take them off all the way if you don't want them on there. I also like the fact that it has the Picatinny rails already on it, 3 of them, so that's a pretty cool feature. You know, so you can mount lasers or like a red dot sight. I'm probably going to put like a red dot sight on top of mine eventually, but for right now, this is fine. What else? These caps up here, if you screw these off, that's how you adjust your you know, your windage and elevation for sighting it in, and there's a cable on there that holds that on, so you can't lose those caps when you're unscrewing it up, which is a pretty cool feature, I think. It's waterproof. I think they say up to 50 feet. Comes with the battery. The battery's up here. I don't remember the exact life of the battery, but it's pretty good. And again, like I said, if I hardly ever use it, so I'm sure mine will last a long time. And then this is obviously the scope mount that comes with it. It also comes with a single, like a screw, I guess you call it. And what that's for is if you want to, you can also mount this on top of your carry handle if you have one. And I did do it just to see what it was all about. I never shot with it on there, but I just put it on there to see how well it installed and how it felt, how it looked. And it's pretty easy to do. All you gotta do, there's 2 screws holding the mount to the scope, and you just unscrew those, and this whole mount comes off, and this whole part just slides right on top of your carry handle, and that one screw that they give you goes right up into the scope and mounts it on there. And it's pretty cool too, because I don't know how well you can see it, but that hole underneath the lens right there, that's just a hollow hole that runs all the way through here. And what that's for is when it's on your carry handle, you can still look through and see your rear and front sights, so you can still use your iron sights. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. You can use the scope or look right under it and through that hole and use your iron sights still. So that is pretty cool, but the only reason I didn't leave it on there is because on the carry handle is because I just wanted a scope. That was all I was ever looking for with this, and I just didn't like the idea that it's just one screw holding on there. It seemed really secure, and it might be, but I just like the idea that this is on a scope mount, and it's real solid, and you know, it's not as high. One thing in my first video I did, I'm gonna go over it again, is when I first got this, I just mounted the gun or the scope and the mount directly to the gun, and it worked fine and it looked good. But one issue was this front sight post. If you have this type of front sight post, you'll be able to see when looking through the scope. You will be able to see that front sight post a little bit in the bottom portion of the optics. It's just kind of like a blur. It wasn't really bad or anything. It was just kind of annoying. It didn't affect the reticle. So if you wanted to leave it like that, you can. But I went ahead and just bought this riser mount right here. This one's made by True Glow, and it worked great. It lifted it a ½ an inch, and it fixed the problem. I can't see that front sight post at all anymore, and it still looks good. It only raised it a ½ an inch, so you can't even really tell, and it only cost me 20 bucks. So if you have this type of front sight post, I would recommend getting a ½ inch riser. It doesn't necessarily have to be by True Glow here, but just do your research, because originally I bought some from Burris, and the Burris ones are only about this big, and so you have to buy 2 of them. They're like 15 bucks each, so it cost me around 30 bucks, and they didn't fit because the stud that goes through here, that goes in between your rail, was really thin. So basically it had play forward and backwards, and then it was too wide for my rail, so side to side it had play as well. So every time I would just pick up my scope, it would just shift everything. So it was just, I returned them, did my research this time, and when I say do your research, make sure that a lot of people are saying it's good, because like I said, I didn't do my research at first with the Burris ones, and they were good quality and they did fit good to the scope itself, but not to my gun. And a lot of other people had the same complaint. I'm talking like 8 out of 10 people, so I wouldn't recommend getting them just because they're probably not going to fit on your gun. But anyway, like I said, I did my research this time. Everyone talked good about this one. It only cost me 20 bucks, and it's been great so far, and it did solve the problem of the front sight post being in the way. And again, like I said, you can't even really tell. It only raises it a ½ an inch. It still looks good. It's not too high. The mount, the ½ inch riser mount's made of aluminum, so it's light. So and the scope itself is really light too, by the way. But anyway, so again, like I said, I would recommend that. The other thing I want to talk about was I did take it out to the range and out shooting on some property a few times, and I've shot hundreds of rounds through this gun since I've had this scope on here, and it's been great. It was really easy to sight in. I did use a bore sight at first just to get it close, and then just did it the old-fashioned way after that, but it literally took me like 5 minutes to sight this thing in. When you're using these to adjust to sight it in, the clicks are real solid and accurate, and I didn't have any issues. And ever since I've had it sighted in, it hasn't nothing's came loose, it hasn't came unsighted. I've bumped it a few times, the scope, and it doesn't come unsighted, and you know, it's just real solid, it's secure, and I'm really happy with it. I did go ahead and Loctite the bolts on the mount, the scope mount, and the riser mount, just because I just didn't want to deal with it ever coming loose. I've heard some people say that they do come loose, so I didn't want to take a risk. So after a couple hundred rounds, it didn't come loose, but I just went ahead and Loctite it anyway, just to be sure, because I'm not planning on taking this off anytime soon. But so I would recommend doing that as well. But yeah, overall this scope is great. Like it's everything I've asked for, and it has a lot of options to it. They give you, for the price, you know, you just can't beat it. You know, for 300 bucks. I mean, I've shot with the Trigicons before. I'm in the military, and don't get me wrong, they're nice, but they're just so, I think they're overrated and expensive. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd like to have one, but I can't justify spending $1,000 on a scope that this one pretty much does the same thing. And the optics are great on this. It's so clear. Burris makes really good optics. It's just unbelievable how clear they are. Just as good as the Trigicons. You know, the only thing about the Trigicon is you don't need a battery. But I mean, like I said, I barely use my my illumination, so I'm not really expecting that to be a problem. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, it looks good. It's light. It operates well. They give you a lot of options with it. I just have no cons on this thing. It's all pros. I would rate it a perfect, really, in my book, because the cost, what you get for it, and it looks good, and it operates. It does what it's supposed to. So for anyone who's looking for a scope for under 500 bucks, I would definitely recommend this, and that's kind of why I did this reviews, because whenever I was looking for one, there really weren't any reviews out there on this. There wasn't any information except from the actual Burris description, the factory description. So I just figured I'd give you guys some input and some advice if you're looking at getting one. But again, the only thing that was my only complaint really, is that it was a little too low for this front sight post, and I really didn't want to take the front sight post off. But it was an easy fix, $20 fix, and it's just screwed right, bolted right on, and the scope mount bolted right onto it. So again, other than that, there's no complaints about this so far. I've shot hundreds of rounds with it, and by the way, the bolt drop compensation works good too. I've used that out to, I think, about 400 yards. I haven't shot 500 yards, but it was pretty much dead on. Honestly, it was. It's pretty impressive how they do that. So again, like I said, I've used the Trigicons, and those do great too, but this is for the price, it's just amazing what you pretty much get the same thing, but just a little different, you know, than the Trigicons. So again, if you're looking for something under $500, I'd say it's a scope for you for your AR. So anyway, I hope this helps out some guys. Hopefully I didn't forget anything, but if you have any questions, just message me on my channel. Alright, appreciate it. Thanks.